You want to know how a single gutless blackout on a Friday night set off the kind of fire that could change an entire neighborhood? Well, let me paint you the scene. I was standing in my garage, hands greasy from fixing my old mower, when the lights died with a snap that cut sharper than any warning. No storm, no accident, just silence so thick you could taste the tension. Stepping out, I saw flashlights flickering like fireflies, neighbors drifting out in pajamas and house shoes. Everyone confused, everyone wondering who'd pull a stunt like this. I'm Tom Granger, retired fire marshal. Yeah, the guy you called. When things burned, not when things froze. I'd put 30 years into running toward trouble-figured retirement, and Brookage Summit would be nothing but Braves games and mowing the grass I fought so hard to own. Never thought I'd get drafted into a war with my own HOA, the same people who once fined me $50 for a garbage can left out half a day too long. You know what I mean? Life here looked perfect from the outside, but behind those welcome home signs, rules, fines, power plays, and lately something meaner lurking underneath. That blackout, it wasn't just a technical glitch. You could feel it. Deliberate, calculated. Our phones barely worked because the HOA blocked the cell tower proposal last year, said it had ruined the skyline. So that night, a few of us gathered outside Simon's place. Maria with a toddler on her hip, Ed the Navy vet scowling like he wanted to punch the dark, and Ellie, who cared for her mother and didn't need this mess. No one knew a thing. Georgia Power claimed the grid was fine. But our street was a graveyard, and not a word from the folks supposed to have our backs. I slept with a lantern and a fire extinguisher by the bed. Couldn't rest. My mind ran through all the ways things spiral. Ellie's mother needs heat for her arthritis. Maria's baby monitor needs Wi-Fi, and all we had was silence. When morning came, still nothing from the HOA, not even a lousy flyer, but their office lights blazing, running on a backup generator, and Janice Langston, HOA president, sipping her latte like it was any other day. I confronted her calm as I could. She told me the board temporarily suspended power to 6 delinquent homes, mine included, for being 3 days late on a payment, despite my call explaining why. Her smile was pure ice. Policy decision, she called it. Within our rights. You ever seen someone so sure of themselves you want to shake them just to see if they're real? That fuse, the one they lit with our trust. It burned fast. I checked on every neighbor. Ellie's mom's oxygen battery was dying. Maria took her toddlers to her sister's. Ed sat outside sharpening a hatchet like it was the 1800s. It wasn't just inconvenience, it was danger. That night I saw an orange flicker down the street. Fire. Eleanor James, our 80-something widow, alone and powerless, her oxygen tanks, useless, smoke alarms dead. I ran barefoot, didn't think, just acted, broke. In crawled through smoke, carried her out while the kitchen blazed behind us. My lungs ached for days, but that moment, it was like time turned to glass. She looked at me and said, "You came back." And yeah, I did, because somebody had to. Janice showed up to the scene, heels digging into the scorched lawn, pretending to care. I let her have it right in front of everyone. She tried to blame protocol, but the crowd was listening now. No hiding, not anymore. The next day, our block smelled like burned plastic and fear. Janice called an emergency meeting at the clubhouse, more performance than substance, with scones and coffee to soften the blow. The board hid behind legal jargon, talking about shared infrastructure and policy enforcement. Ellie, normally so quiet, called them out, said they never really gave us a say, just mailed surveys, and called the silence consensus. Maria was crying, furious for her kids. Ed bellowed, "You calling power a shared amenity?" The room nearly exploded. I told them this wasn't about dues. This was about control, about the way they used fear to keep us quiet. "Are you threatening legal action, Mr. Granger?" Janice asked. "No, I'm promising it." And I meant it. I dusted off my old fire marshal binder full of safety codes, compliance standards, all the stuff I'd saved since my brother died in a house fire when we were kids. The difference between life and death came down to a smoke detector battery that wasn't there. Some scars you don't get over. I called Carla a neighbor and an absolute bulldog of an attorney, and with Sandra, a local reporter, we got the truth out. Viral videos, media attention. Suddenly the power came back not out of decency, but out of fear. We took them to court. The hearing was electric testimony after testimony, every neighbor stepping up. Carla dropped the hammer internal email showing the board called the blackout a pressure tactic, even targeted vocal residents on purpose. Judge Lansing, gravel-voiced and zero patience, blocked the HOA from ever shutting off utilities again and ordered a city audit. The fallout. Oh, it was messy. We got threatening letters, but Ed's mailbox camera caught Linda the enforcer slipping them in. Next day she resigned. The city audit unearthed tens of thousands spent on board members' homes, shell companies, all kinds of rotten business. Janice vanished from public life, then resigned. We rallied, called a special election. Maria, Ed, Ellie, we all stepped up. They pushed me to run for president, and I finally agreed. Not for power, for repair, for redemption, for the neighbor who almost died for $130 in dues. The change was real. Citywide reforms, new state laws. We got Matthews Light Park named for my brother. Paper lanterns lined our block. We scrapped punitive fines for helping hands. Community dinners replaced board meetings. Ellie led next, transforming the HOA into a true community group. Mental health support, youth mentorships, storm supply stations. You know what? People finally wanted to live here. 6 months after the verdict, Eleanor moved back in. Her rebuilt home glowed with fresh paint and solar panels, safety upgrades everywhere. She hugged me, quilt on her shoulders, and whispered, "You brought the light back, Tom." But truth is, she was the spark. The story spread, TV segments, op-eds, calls from all over the country, people sharing stories of the same abuse, the same silent fear. And I stood on my porch watching lights flicker on, not out of habit but pride. Because now we know we can't be bullied into silence. Not by rules, not by threats, not by people who treat power like a toy. We fought back, not with vengeance but with resilience, and we turned this place into a real neighborhood again. So let me leave you with this: when power's used as a weapon, when those meant to serve become tyrants, what's left isn't just outrage, it's the courage to stand up, to speak out, to remember what community is supposed to mean. We wear our scars like armor, now proof that together we can walk through fire and come out stronger on the other side. So what do you think? Where's the line between order and overreach, rules and real justice? Let me know, because this conversation is not just about Brookage Summit, it's about all of us.